Hello and welcome to DB Primary Training. So DB Primary is your safe online learning space for children and teachers to work together and collaborate, share information between users in that safe online environment. So DB Primary works around the idea of online communities. Which are groups you can set up. Now, generally, that's going to be your class groups, but you may also want to have clubs, whole year groups if you're multiple form entry, and you can have as many of these online communities as you want, but generally it's going to be your classes that we will be using. Now, everything on DB Primary will go through a profanity filter, so anything the children want to post will go through this profanity filter and will mean that any blocked language, so any swear words and phrases, they cannot post, and any words which are maybe ambiguous, so for example the word hate, will be flagged to you so that you can see the context it's being used in. So everything that the children do on here, you will have an overview of what they're doing and be able to see everything that they're doing. So it does make it a really safe place that you know and can rely on, that with the right monitoring and interaction, you know the children are on here and you can be communicating with them in a safe way. So today we'll look at getting those communities set up and the different features of the community that they has to offer. We will also be looking at the learning library and assigning tasks through the learning library as well. So we'll start off by looking at the super admin user. Now the super admin user is going to be the top level admin account, and it's the only account that can administrate staff users and give staff new passwords, that kind of thing. We'll start off by logging in with the super admin so you can see how to give out your staff their usernames and passwords, how to assign staff new passwords if needed. Then we'll log in with a regular staff account and get community set up, show you how to find the children's passwords, and then we'll look at the learning library, lastly, how to assign tasks and how to see how the children are doing once they've started to complete them. So we're going to go ahead and log in first of all with the super admin username and password, which will be given to you, and if you haven't got it, the support team can give this to you. So we'll go ahead and log in. Now, first of all, we will see the home page. This is the home page here. Lots of useful links here, but generally the super admin account, the main bulk of what we're going to be doing in the super admin account is in this admin area just here. So we'll click into the admin area, which will take you into your accounts area. So these are the accounts that if you have MIS integration, we'll create from that. If you're on a manual setup, then these will have been manually created through an Excel import. So to give out your staff usernames and passwords for DB Primary, you'll want to click this word Actions next to the Staff Accounts folder and choose Show Passports. So if I do that now, you'll see that these are my staff, their username, their temporary password, and then also the URL that they would need to type in to get to your school's login screen. Just Googling DB Primary won't work. You need to go to your own school's actual login screen. Once you've given these out, these little passports, these can be printed or exported, and your staff start to log in, they'll be asked to change their password to something more secure. And once they've done that, for example, this user here has done that, and I know she's done that because it says your password is not available. That means I can no longer see what her password is. So she's logged in and changed it from the temporary one she was given and Now, if she comes to me and says, I don't know my password, I can't give her a reminder, I need to issue her with a brand new password. So we'll just come out of this for the moment. So that is your giving out your staff usernames and passwords. If a member of staff does come to you as super admin user and says, I can't log in, I've forgotten my password, what you would need to do, again, in this admin area, is open up your staff accounts folder, and you will see a pencil icon next to everybody's name. Now, when you're logged in as a regular staff user, you won't see these pencils in this area. It's only the super admin that can do this. So to give a member of staff a new password, you need to click the pencil next to their name. And then in the password and confirm password field, you can give them a new temporary password. And again, this is a temporary password, so make it something simple. And then once you're happy, you can go ahead and save changes. And then to double check that we did that and it saved okay, again, we can look at the pencil and just click the passport for this individual user. And that was the password I just set for this user. So you can tell the user, that's your new temporary password. Again, they would log in, it will prompt them to change it, and that's that then done. So we'll just come back out of here. The other bits and bobs you can see in this super admin area, we have a list of the communities within the school, so you'll see all of them there. You'll see your active communities. As time goes by, old communities may get archived, but generally, to begin with, you'll only have active ones. Email monitor. So as it stands, by default, all your users can email each other internally. So the children in Year 1, for example, if they are in the same community as each other, they will be able to email each other. Year 2 can email each other, and so on. It does mean that, obviously, if you want Year 1s to be able to email Year 2s, you would need to create a community that has all the children from Year 1 and Year 2 in the same community. So they must share community membership to be able to email each other. It is good, though, because obviously you may not want your Year 6s emailing your Year 1s, so having that separation is really good. But if for any reason you want to be able to see emails going between two children, maybe you get somebody say, you know, I've had a nasty email from my friend and there's emails going backwards and forwards which have been unkind, you can come into the email monitor area, fill in the details, see between, you know, two people, time, date as well, and search, and it will show you all the emails going backwards and forwards between those users and the content of them as well. So it gives you a full overview of what's going on. You've got the Safe Mail tab as well. So as I said before, email in DB Primary is internal only, which means that it was Safe Mail. So Safe Mail is on for everybody. So the children can only send and receive from within DB Primary. They can't receive emails or send from a Gmail account or anything like that. If for any reason you want to have exceptions to this and you want to add extra users, you've perhaps got a pen pal that that they have at another school, you can add external email addresses so that they can send and receive from external addresses as well if you choose. Probably not needed, but it's there if you want. The school tab you don't need to worry about too much. It's how your school's set up and configured, so we can leave that for now. So that's the main thing in the accounts area to be aware of. If we come back to the home page now, one thing just to point out as well for the super admin is this notifications bell here. So as super admin, you will get all notifications about all goings on across the school. So if somebody tries to send a nasty email with some blocked language, it will notify you here. If a user has tried to log in lots and lots and lots of times with the wrong password and they lock themselves out of their account, it'll notify you here. And you can see what's happened here, and you can have a little look down as well at all the goings on so that you're aware. Now, the super admin will get these for the whole school, and class teachers will get these notifications for their own class. So that's just something to be aware of. Whoever is super admin will have visibility over all of that. So we'll log out now, and we will log in with just a regular staff account, a teacher account. So we'll change that. And this is a teacher's homepage. So we've got the quick links tile with various links on it. So we've got their email, their calendar, file storage area, rewards if you want to do rewards, the learning library, which I said we'll come to a little bit later, School Ping, our communication app, our ideas and help, which is our help center. I'll show you that at the end of what's in there. New Era Community is a place where we as a company will update you of any new features being added, just to keep you in the loop with any goings on at the company, and then the admin area as well. So if we go into the admin area once more, now we're in now as a teacher, not as a super admin. If I open up the staff accounts folder, I can no longer see the pencils. I can only see it next to my own account. Now, I am a Year 4 teacher here, so I want to be able to give out my pupils' account details to them, so they need their own login details now. So as a teacher, I can come into this admin area, I can open up the pupil accounts folders, I come to Year 4, I click Actions, and once again, Show Passports. And there we go. These are my passports for my children that I can give out. Now, they will normally have their own password, and it would be a 6-letter word. Also the option of a picture password as well if needed. So we can come back there. Children can't change their own passwords, so you don't need to worry about them changing it to something and forgetting. It's off by default that children cannot change their own passwords. So that's where you'll find your children's passwords. That was from Actions and Show Passports, and those can be given out. Then the teacher will see their own communities. Again, they've got access to the email monitor and to the safe mail as well for adding exceptions to the safe mail. So for the time being, we'll come back to the home page just here. Now, again, as I said, I'm a Year 4 teacher, and this is my class. So these are children in my class. And when you have a community set up with yourself as the teacher, you'll be able to select that class to show in here. So I'll show you now how to create a community and add your children and make sure you're in there. So teachers can do this themselves. So what they will come up here to do is My Community is just here, and Create a Community. So then we give the community a name, so you can give it your class name. So I'm going to just call it Year 4, 2020. I can choose the theme I want it to be on. So this is not a teacher community. Starter, that's generally for Key Stage 1. And Improver for Key Stage 2. So I'm going to choose a Year 4 Improver. I'm going to choose a blue background, and I'm going to create the community. So this is a blank community here. So the first thing I want to do is to make sure I've got the right people that can access this community, the right adults and the right children. So I'm going to come up to the cogs just here, and I'm going to click Manage Membership. At the moment, I'm the only person in this community, and that's because I created this community. So now I want to make sure I've got my class in here. So I can open up the pupils accounts just here. I can tick my class, and I can add them over here. Now you'll notice I've got a mortarboard symbol, which means I'm a leader of this community. I can edit and I can add content to this community as I wish. The children have got this shield symbol, which means that they are only a member. They can respond to things I put on here, but they cannot add things, edit the page in any way. That's generally the way I want it to be set up. If for some reason I don't want the children to be able to interact with the page at all, I could click this symbol. I could make them leaders if I want them to be able to change the page and edit it. If I click it again, it turns to an eye, which means it's view only. They can access the page, they can look at it, they can't do anything with it. So generally, you're going to have your adults as leaders and your children as just members. I may also want to come back here and choose maybe my partner teacher to add as well. Any LSAs, TAs that I have can also be in here. Senko possibly might want to be involved with seeing what's going on as well, perhaps the head teacher. It's up to you, and you can have as many adults as you like in here, and adults can be members of multiple communities, as can the children. So now I'm going to come back to my community just by this little page here. Now I can see my membership area. I can see everybody who's in here. So this is where we are. So we'll just come back to the community page just by clicking up here. And again, it's still looking rather plain. I've got a menu down the side, which I may want to edit in a moment for some of the features that are available to my members. And I can also start to edit what's on the bulk of my page to make it look exciting and interesting for the children to access. So first of all, I'm going to have a little look at changing what appears here. So I've got a file storage area, so I can put files for the children to access. So Word documents, PowerPoint, audio files, whatever it is that I'd like the children to be able to access from home, I can pop those in there. I can create a survey for the children to answer. I've got a class calendar here, so if we've got a school trip coming up or a sports match or whatever it is, I can pop that on the calendar. We've got the forum, so if we want to, again, we'll go through a little bit more detail these in a moment, but a forum where I can post a question for discussion. We've got our class blog here, so that's much like an online diary that we can write together as a class, or the children can publish to the blog. The members area, so I can have a look at who's in this community and visit my other members' home pages, so the children have their own home page. And tasks as well, so I can set some tasks for the children to complete. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is show you how to edit this menu here. So again, it's in this COGS Community Administration area. So, for example, I may not want to worry, I'm not going to worry about surveys at the moment. We're not going to be focusing on those. And I've also decided for my class that I don't want them to be able to see each other's home pages. So I'm going to untick those two options there, and I'm going to update my list. So it's up to you what you want to have in that list. The recommendation from us is to only have things in this list that you're currently using, to keep it simple for the children and to also keep it focused on what you're actually needing it for. Too much can be very difficult and overwhelming for children, especially for younger children down the school. So keep it simple, keep it relevant to what you're actually using. You've also got the option, if you'd like to, add additional links. So if you use anything else like BBC Bitesize, Timetable Rockstars, Enrich Math Games, whatever it is you'd like to add, you can choose to add your own links to this menu here by clicking on the Browse button here and creating a new link. And then you just paste the URL that you would like them to be able to visit. This part of the screen here, this middle part here, shows what will actually show on the bulk of the page. So we've got the menu down the left-hand side, and then the middle part, the bulk of the page. Now, the wiki is sort of what we refer to as the main part of the page, the main editable part of the page to make it look welcoming for children. So that will be on show. The what's on section as well shows forums, calendars. It shows them kind of updates to what's happened on the page. But you can also choose to add additional panels. So if you want the calendar to show, the forum, the community blog, I'm going to pop the forum on there. I quite like having that on there as well. And then once you're happy with what you've got on there, you can return back to the page by clicking on the arrow here. And then you can see I've added the forum just there, and my menu has updated as well. To start designing the page itself, we click to start designing the page. We can choose a nice skin or sort of background. I'm going to go with the nature one. And I can choose my layout for the page. So I'm going to choose a nice simple one-column display. And then what we get is we get some sort of placeholder text and images that can be edited. So at the moment, when we hover over, each part of the page goes blue, which means we're in edit mode. So to edit any part of this page, for the header, for example, I click the blue pencil, and then I can write Year 4 class page. There's no save button or anything, it's just there. If I want to put my own image there, I could click on this button here and choose an image, or if I don't want the image at all, in the bottom right-hand corner, I can remove this section altogether. So I'm going to remove that as well. The blue add button lets me add various things to the pages, so I can add some existing media, images and documents, more headers if I want to, content, which is just a text box, videos, MP3s, and a collaboration area. The collaboration area is quite nice because it allows children to post to this part of the page, which otherwise they wouldn't be allowed to do. So by posting a collaboration area, it gives them the opportunity, if you want to involve them with populating the page, you can do. To come into view mode, so out of this sort of design mode, you click this little button up here, which is the green arrow on the page to view it. And then you'll see what the page will look like. If you want to carry on designing it and editing it, it's the pencil just here, which takes me back into that design mode. You've got the option as well to create additional pages, so you might want to have one for maths, one for English, and so on. And these will just fill up along my bar here. What I'll do is just give you a quick sneak preview if I come back to my home page. And I'll go into a populated community just to give you a little idea of what it could look like once you've spent some time playing around with it and designing it. So I've got a couple of additional links in my menu here. I've added a slideshow of images. This is my collaboration area just here with these three little blocks. So the children have put facts in there themselves and can contribute in there. So that's what it will look like. And then I've got my additional pages set up here as well. So just coming back to my blank community now that we just set up. So as I said, we've got our files and a calendar. The forum, we'll go into a little bit more detail now. So I'm going to click into the forum. So here you can set up a topic for discussion. So just by clicking New Topic. So we can put a topic for discussion just there and save that topic there. Then what it means is the children can come on here and reply and have a discussion. Close that for the moment. Here it is. Now the key thing in the forum area for teachers to be aware of is that we have different moderation options. So to choose your moderation level, we click on the little toggle here, and you can choose what you feel is appropriate for your class and for your children. So this means if I choose all topics and save, moderation is on. So anytime the children try to reply or post a topic, I, as a teacher, will be notified of this on my homepage, and I will have to allow it or decline. So it just means that, again, you've got that level of control of seeing what's going to be posted before it actually is posted, and you can decide what's appropriate or not, as the case may be. The same goes for the blog. So you can write a new entry. So this can be done as a whole class writing task. The children also have their own personal blogs that they may wish to write, and they can keep it on their personal blog, or they may wish to publish to their class community blog. Again, it's important to think about the level of moderation for this. Generally, say, put it on for all posts. Start high. You can always take it down a notch if you feel they're using it responsibly and well. But it is a good idea to go in sort of almost with too much and ease off rather than too little, and then the children are not using it how you would like them to. So we can turn that on. And that just means then you will have control about what gets published to this blog and what does not. Coming back once more here, the last thing I will cover in this area, in our community area, is the tasks. So we have two different ways of setting tasks in DB Primary. The first is here through the community page itself. Now these are more personalized, in-depth tasks. The other way, which we'll come to a little bit later, is the task that you can set through the Learning Library. And these are pre-made activities you can assign to the children to complete. But we'll start with a task here. So we'll go into the tasks area, and we're going to create a new task. So we can give the task a name. So I would like them to write some instructions for making an electrical circuit. I can choose the type of task, so a document. Now this is a document within DB Primary, so they don't need to have Word installed on their computer at home. They can do this within DB Primary itself. Paint a picture if that's appropriate. A blog entry. You can ask them to upload a file, so they could do it in, if you want them to make a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation, they might have to upload a file. To answer a survey you've created, to create a new forum topic, or to reply to a forum you've created. There's all different types you can choose. And once you click onto them, it will show you what it is they would have to do to complete that task. So I'm going to choose to ask them to write a document. So it's going to use DB Primary's document tool to create and submit written work. So I'm going to create that task there. So now I'm choosing my task participants. Who needs to do this? Now, it's all the children in my class, so I'm going to select all and add them as participants. So that means when I set it, all my children in my class are going to be expected to complete this task. I'm going to choose my start date and my due date and time as well. I can choose if I want this to repeat weekly. I do not. It's a one-off task. And I can also add some resources. So if we've got a picture of a circuit, for example, to show them, remind them what goes into an electrical circuit, I might choose to add that here. And then I can write my instructions for what I'd like them to do. So please write blah, 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 blah. Once I'm happy, and I think, right, that's everything they need to be able to complete the task, I can go ahead and publish my task. So now that task has been assigned to my class to complete. I can see that nobody has started it yet, but when they have, I'll be able to leave them a comment. Once it's completed, I can leave them a comment, which will show up on their homepage. The pupil can also leave a comment about how they feel they've done with the task. So this will show, this is a nice area for keeping track, which I can expand out for each pupil. And I can see that is assigned to my class. The next part I'm going to show you is what a pupil homepage will look like, to give you an idea about what they will see on their end. So I'm going to log out for the moment and log in with a pupil username. So generally, pupils will have their first name and initial of their surname, and then usually it's a 6-letter word that will be their password, unless you've given them something different. This is a Year 4 child's profile page, their home page that they will see when they log on. It will default to their things to do. So this is the instructions I've just set for making an electrical circuit. So this is where it will appear, and then the child can click into it and start completing the task. They've got their email area, their own calendar, their own blog, their work area, rewards if you decide to do rewards through DV Primary, access to the learning library, and settings for if they want to change their profile picture or their nickname or anything like that. So that's what they will see. The key thing really to point out about this page is the golden whistle up here. So if the child at any point comes across something in DV Primary they don't like, they're sent an unkind email, for example, they can blow the whistle by clicking on it, and then they can write a message to say such and such used an unkind word and send. And that will send it to their teacher and to the super admin as well to show them, and it will take a screenshot of this page essentially, sends them to this page so that the teacher can see what it was that the child didn't like on this page. So that's what the child will see there. Logging back in with my teacher account now, we will now have a look at the Learning Library and what that has to offer. So we're going to go into Learning Library from here. So the Learning Library tools and activities are mapped to the 2014 National Curriculum. We have a mixture of interactive activities, teaching tools, guidance and lesson plans in here that can be assigned to the children. So first of all, we'll look at what we've actually got in here. So we'll come to the Library tab up here, and we're going to choose Maths. We're looking at addition and subtraction at the moment, so we'll click onto that here. Teaching tools are designed to be used on the interactive whiteboard as part of your teaching input. So they're not going to be assigned to children to complete. That will be for you to demonstrate a concept. So what we're going to do is we're going to look for activities that the children can complete. So we're going to use the filter over here. And then you'll see these are activities. And I'm going to choose Year 3 and Year 4. And I want to see what activities are available for my children to complete. So I'm going to have a little look at Change Please. So I'll click into this one here. It tells me the learning objectives that this will meet, a description of the activity itself. I've got a simplified, standard and advanced version of this activity. Not all activities have this, but many do. It will default to the standard, though, if it does have that three-way differentiation. And from here, I can choose to launch the activity, which will show me what the activity does. I can assign it to my whole class by clicking just on this little green bit here. Or the drop-down arrow lets me choose individual children from my class if I felt they needed additional practice with giving change. But for now, I'm going to assign it to my whole class. You'll see that it's due in 7 days. It will default to 7 days. If I want to change this, I can click to change on the little calendar there to change the schedule. So I might not want to set it straight away. I might want it to be available in a week's time. So I could choose for it to be available for children in a week's time at 6 o'clock. And I want it to be due in, give them a little bit longer. I can choose a time and date and save it. So now it's due in 16 days. It gives them a bit longer to complete the task. So we can find all our activities in the library this way. Coming along to the class tab now, if I go into tasks, this shows me my open tasks. So this is what I've currently set my children. So the change please is what I've just set my class just now. I can see that nobody has started it. And if I want to, I can unassign it from them. My other options appear on this cog. So again, I can change the schedule. So if I now think, oh, actually 16 days is too long, I want to make that less, I can change the schedule. I can clone this task, so it would produce a copy of it. I can add pupils if I wanted to. So if I had additional pupils, I wanted to be able to access this. Reset it, so if people have started doing it and I can see they're not doing well and I need to reteach this perhaps, I can reset their scores so they can take it again. I can close the task altogether, think, right, we finished it, we're going to close it off. Or if I've assigned it perhaps in error, I can delete it altogether. I'll just collapse this back up for the moment. Once they've started to complete it, so for example, this one here, you will see the score. If the activity gives a score, it will self-mark and tell you the score. If they've had to make any corrections to get to that score, their self-assessment, the status, so you can, once they've done it, you can assess them. You can leave an assessment. You can reset their score as well. You can view how they've done. So you can actually watch through screen by screen. So for spelling tests, you can see, if you want to, what they've put in for it to be incorrect. So you can start to pick up on any errors they might be making. And you can choose, as I said, to assess it as well. So you can leave a comment and some next steps, and that will be sent to the pupil's homepage, and they'll see that, so they can see that you've seen their work and you've given them some feedback on that. So back up to our class tile here. So that was our task that we have set as teachers. The self-learning area here, this will show who's logging on at home and who's completing tasks and activities off their own steam and wanting to complete more. So I can see here this child, if I open them up, I can see what they've done and how they've done as well. So I can see how they're doing. From here, from this self-learning tab, I can also set a year limit. So if I don't want my children accessing anything above year 4, I can set a year group limit by clicking on that and choosing year 4. I can also, from the cog, for each child, set an individual limit as well. So you can personalize that for your children depending on their needs. We've also got the mark book from the class tab up here. Again, anything that has a score will show in this mark book, and you can have it's just a quick overview of how they've done. You can also choose to export that data into a CSV file as well. And the pupil view will just show you how they see the learning library. It's a little bit more child-friendly. So we've covered so far how to assign individual tasks, but the other option is to be able to make a sequence of tasks, and we call those pathways. So we can come to our Pathways tab along the top here, and we're going to create a new pathway and give it a name. So we'll call it Spellings spring, for example. Okay. Oh, 2020. There we go. And I've got an empty pathway now to be filled with activities. So I'm going to go and find some activities now to put into this sequence, this pathway. So I'm going to come back to my library. I'm going to be going into English and spelling. And we're going to be looking at prefixes, for example. Here we are. I like the look of this one, so I can click into this one. Now, again, I could assign it to my class individually, but I can also add it to Spelling Spring 2020, which is the pathway I've just created. So I'm going to go ahead and add that now. So that's gone there. It also helpfully shows me some recommended items which are linked to this activity that I may want to add to my pathway as well. So I think, yep, that one looks great. So I'm going to click that one. I'm going to go ahead and add that one as well. Yep, I like the look of that one. Yep, and we can keep going. We can keep going. We can keep adding them. And then once you think, I'm happy, I've got everything I need in there, I'm going to come back to my Pathways tab. And there they are. And then from here, I think to myself, right, we're going to swap those two rounds. We can drag and drop the order to whatever makes the most sense. And when I'm happy with my pathway, I can assign it to my class. I can assign it to all of them, or I can assign it to individual pupils. So I'm going to go ahead and assign it to everybody. Again, it defaults to due in 7 days. I want to change that either from here or by going to the tasks area. Here's my spellings pathway. When I open that up, these are the individual activities within that pathway. And from the cog, I can change the schedule. Now for a pathway, there's one extra option, and that is to set pathway intervals. So at the moment, the children can complete one straight after the other, straight after the other, straight after the other, the activities. That may be fine. But if you'd like them to maybe slow down and do one a day, for example, or one a week, I can turn on pathway intervals, and I can say I want them to do one a week, one every school day, or one every day, and save it. So they can come on a Monday and do one, and then it stops. They come back on Tuesday, they can do another one, and it stops, and so on. So that's your pathways option there. The last thing just to show you in pathways is the fact that we've got some templates that you can have a look at. So lots of computing ones there and math ones pre-made for you to have a look at. I'll choose one there that you can then download and then assign to your class. Saves you having to make them potentially. So they are there as well. We'll come back to the library for one last little thing to show you. So I've shown you all the sort of pre-made activities at the moment. If you think to yourself, I really like to make my own spelling test, then you can do so. Got the option to create your own activity just here. So games, crosswords, quizzes, spelling tests, sorting activities, they can be made as well and are self-marked. So really great for saving your teachers some time. So that's everything in the Learning Library. We'll come back to the teacher homepage now. So the very last thing to sort of highlight here is the ideas and help section. So we'll click into here. So there's some guidance on various features. So if you want some ideas of where to begin, how you might use it in your teachers, so it's worth having a little look here. The Getting Started tile is a great place. We click into it. So we've got the Getting Started with DB Primary, which will talk your staff through, how to set up a community, how to use the blog, the forum, that kind of thing. Leaflets and handouts is a great section. Got some really useful documentation here for parents to understand what DB Primary is. The staff training handout is also great for any staff who perhaps don't have time for the training video, or can be part of the initial training phase, or just need a reminder, something tangible to take away with them. The handout for staff is a really good one. The Digital Citizenship Scheme of Work is also a really great place if you're going to be using DB Primary for teaching online safety. Our Web Wizards Scheme of Work, we have one for EYFS and Key Stage 1, Lower Key Stage 2 and Upper Key Stage 2 as well. And these are sequences of lesson plans, how to use email, forum, blogs to teach online safety within DB Primary. So sort of tangible lesson plans that the teachers can follow. So that's all there as well. So it's very worthwhile having a look through the ideas and help section there. And the last bit here, support for all staff. So it's not just the person who signed the contract for DB Primary that can contact our support team. Any of your staff, whether that's LSAs, teaching staff, SENCO, whoever it is that would like some support, can give us a call, give us an email, and we will be more than happy to help them get set up, with communities, ideas for how to use various parts of DB Primary. So please do give us a shout if you would like any ongoing support with that. For now though, I'm going to wrap this up and say thank you very much for listening and following along if you've made it this far, and best of luck for using DB Primary within your school. Used well, it's a great tool for collaboration, so we wish you the very best of luck with it. Thank you.